Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Night toast to you. And all you do, look here, the tree is way prettier than the top of my house. Oh, bam, there we go. Look at that nice top of the tree that's frozen. Anyways, hi, everybody. I hope you're having a great day today. It's Sunday morning. Yesterday I didn't make a video because it was my birthday, so I just took the day to hang out with my family. We're doing the whole quarantine lockdown thing because all of my husband's coworkers have COVID, so better safe than sorry. We're just staying home. So we just spent the day at home. It was a great day. Had a lot of fun. But anyways, today, such a weird camera angle. I don't want to hold it. If I hold it, I have all the way up here. Anyways, today I want to talk about darkness. I want to talk about your darkness. As the dark moon comes into Scorpio, this is a great time to be doing some reflecting and some internal work and some meditation. But most of all, I want to talk about your darkness. I know that there are a lot of people out there who have this misconception of darkness. When we come from the Christian faith, we've been taught for years and years and years that darkness is bad. Bad, bad, bad. Evil things live there. You don't want to be there. It's a negative place. And that's really not true. That couldn't be farther from the truth. The darkness is this beautiful, nurturing, warm place. It's like the hug from the goddess. And when we're in the dark moon, it's like a hug from the grandmother goddess. And so it's this beautiful time that we can spend with the goddess and ourselves and getting to know ourselves and all of those things and not being scared of our own darkness. Which is easier said than done, especially when we've come from a lifetime of being told that the darkness is a scary place, a bad place where evil resides and all that kind of stuff. You have to let go of those thoughts. You have to let go of those notions and find some comfort in the darkness. Some of the best ways that I find to start doing this are to meditate in the dark, to sit in your own darkness, and you can have one candle or whatever, but really to just be in the darkness and be comfortable and not be scared of the shadows that may move around. Shadows aren't necessarily bad things. I'm constantly talking to people who are like, oh, I saw a shadow figure, it must be evil. I'm like, no, not necessarily. Especially when you first start working with these kind of energies, we don't always know how to perceive them, so our brain perceives them as shadows or dark things or whatever, when that might not necessarily be what they truly are. Your brain has trouble when things are new. Your brain wants to put all the pieces together in a nice, neat, orderly fashion so that everything is understood and there aren't any confusions and we know where all the pieces go. So when you get a new information like a shadowy energy or just a new energy that you've never seen or felt before, it's often going to be seen as darkness or light or, some kind of fuzzy whatever. And it doesn't mean that you have to be scared of them. Now, I'm not saying that all of these things that are good, because there are bad things out there, just like there are good and bad people. There are good and bad spirits. Energy is energy, no matter what form it takes, and it can go in either direction, and it's not like whatever. Anyways, so when you're exploring your darkness, fear is going to be one of your biggest problems, like a hurdle you have to get over, because you can't be scared of it. You can't be scared of your own darkness or the darkness around you. You have to learn to be comfortable. And once you let go of that fear and you start being more comfortable and you can hang out and just be there, you can find that I find that doing divination work is way easier in a dark setting. And we're not necessarily talking about just having the lights off. Right now we're in the dark time of the year, so all of this time is going to be easier for doing psychic work. We're entering into the Scorpio moon. Well, we're going from the Scorpio to the Sagittarius moon, whatever, but in that Scorpio moon, we were really feeling that psychic energy. And we're just going to continue with that through the rest of this darkness. But it doesn't have to, you could be doing it at noon, and you would still be into that dark energy because it's that dark time of the year. Right now we're at the dark moon, so it's also even darker. This isn't the darkest dark moon, because that'll be the one next month. Because it'll be pretty close to the solstice, fairly. But which will be the dark night, the longest night of the year, plus the dark moon's right there. It's just going to be a very dark time, so we're just getting closer and closer to that darkness. So by the time we get to the next dark moon, I would love for you to be comfortable enough to be able to sit down and meditate and find your own darkness, or have practiced that along some path, so that way when you come to that time, you can go to your own dark place and be reborn and come out from that as this new, beautiful, ready for new being. And that's really the goal of this whole process. And it's so important to be comfortable in your darkness and be able to appreciate that, because this is where you're going to be able to do a lot of your own self-reflecting. And it's time for church. Anyways, so this is where you can do a lot of your own reflecting. This is where you can connect with the goddess. This is where you can rejuvenate. Because in Christianity, they talk a lot about the end. This is the end. Only one person has ever been re-brought back to life, whatever. We are all on this cycle. We all come back. It is just this reoccurring go cycle. Go, and then you die, and then you go, and then you die, and that's how we spend our life. And so this dark time of year is when we enter our own darkness, is when we enter our own psyche, is when we can really grow from that, so that you can start fresh this new year. And by golly, I think we all agree that we need a fresh start this year. 2020 has been unpleasant, to say the least, and it would be nice to have a fresh start. So why not go into that ready for something new? And this is that time, is when you go into your dark place and you become reborn. Now, I feel like I'm kind of like brushing over this really quickly, because this is like a life lesson that's not gonna just, for some people who are very comfortable in the darkness and they're like, yeah, that makes total sense. I'm gonna go to my dark place. I'm going to meditate there, physically and psychically, both be in my dark space. And I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna have some inspiration. I'm gonna have the love for the goddess, and I'm gonna be able to be reborn stronger and rejuvenated. And it'll really just kind of make sense. Now, for other people, this is going to be really hard, because you've never been to your own dark place. You're not comfortable there. You don't understand that energy. You haven't bonded with it. You haven't spent time with it. So today, under this dark moon, is a great time to do that and think about what... So one, I guess, start by thinking about what darkness means to you. Is it a scary place, or is it a comforting place? Is it cold and damp and wet like the yin, or is it like a warm cave womb kind of place? As an example, for me, in my mental temple, when I go to my meditative state and I go into my own darkness, it is a cave with no openings. It's got like waist-high water throughout most of it. It's warm, and it's only lit up by those little glow worms that live on the top of caves that are bioluminescent. And that's the only light. So it's got this like bluey, greenish, glowy hue to it, but you can't really see very far. If I was there literally and I held my hand this far, like where the phone is, you wouldn't be able to see me because it would be too dark. It is darkness. Now, my space is warm and wet, not cold and wet, because I don't like to be cold. So that wouldn't be very comfortable for me. But it is a warm, dark space that I can go to, and when I sit there, it's like sitting in a relaxing, warm bath. It's like getting a really good night's sleep. It's that warm, fuzzy feeling you wake up when you feel loved and happy and just like, this is a good day. That's the energy of that dark space. And so it's very welcoming, it's very loving, it's very nurturing, and It wasn't always like that. I didn't always have a dark space. I didn't even realize that I needed one early on in my practice. But now it makes really good sense, and I wish I would have done it sooner, because I think it would have really been good for my psyche to have that, maternal, nurturing, wise energy that just like gives you a really good hug. It's like a hug from your favorite grandma. That's that dark energy. And I know that for many, when you say that, you're like, that is counterintuitive. My grandma is not a dark. And that's what I was saying earlier. You have to let go of all these preconceived notions of what we've been taught by this monotheistic society on what darkness is. I have another video that really goes into depth about all of this, so go check it out. It's way earlier in the channel, but it's there. But you just have to let go of those thoughts and be able to move into a new space of darkness. And so I challenge you today to, like I said, start by writing down what it is you think the darkness is, what it means to you, what kind of environment that is. And then go through your list. Like, did you put scary? Did you put negative? What words on there did you put that are counterintuitive to a healing, nurturing place? You have to think about the darkness as the womb of the mother goddess, where all life has come from and all life will return, so that it can then return. And it is this like rotating door of birth and death and rebirth and whatever, okay? And that's that. It's the energy that helps the seeds come forth. It's the energy that keeps the earth warm when those days are cold and we don't feel the sun very much. It's beautiful. It's flowing. It's nurturing. It's, like I said, it's like that hug from your favorite grandma. Like, I just think about my Popo, and when she gives you a hug, and it's just, oh my God, it's amazing. And that's what the darkness is. And so you want to look at your list and reflect on what you have put down for darkness, and then take a moment to think about, your favorite grandma or grandpa, your favorite maternal energy that has nurtured and loved you. Maybe that's not someone from your family. Maybe that's even somebody off the TV. Maybe there's a character on TV and you're like, oh my God, I want to meet this person. Like, I wish this was a real person so that I could have that as my grandma. Whatever it may be. Or maybe go see your grandma if she'll see you. None of my grandmas will see me right now, so I'm really missing them hugs. But think about your grandma and think about that hug and think about, getting that really good night's sleep, that warm bath. Think about them all happening together. Like, you had a really nice, good sleep. You woke up and had this beautifully nurturing, warm bath where you're like, oh, I feel so good. I'm ready for anything. And then you saw your grandma and she gave you a big hug. Those are the feelings that you need to begin to associate with the darkness so that you can really be getting all that you can out of that energy. And then when you need that energy, you can just meditate and go to your dark space and spend time with there. Now, this is not... So as I was saying that, all I could think of is people are like, my dark side. This is not that. We're talking about darkness and the energy of nighttime and nurturing and all of that. We'll talk about that other stuff later because I feel like I'm talking for a long time. I can't see what the timer says. Okay. When people are like, you need to get in touch with your dark self, they're more... Okay, there are those people out there who are referring to the parts of you that are considered evil. Okay, no, that's not what that is. Those people are trying to scare you. Those are gatekeepers trying to keep people out. Whatever, ignore them. When you're talking about bonding with your dark self, what you're talking about is bonding with that animalistic inner self. And I know that there are a lot of people who have been taught that, like, oh, that's bad. But you know what? That's not. If you go into nature and you see the animals together, 9 times out of 10, they create some kind of community. They take care of their young. They do what they need to do to survive. and to continue being prosperous. That wouldn't happen if we didn't have mothers who took care of us. And even like baby alligators. You're like, how could an alligator take care of their babies? But an alligator takes care of their babies, okay? So when we're talking about your darker self, dark shouldn't be the word that we use, because really as pagans we need to stop associating these things and recreating these Christian philosophies in our own practice, because it's ridiculous. But with that being said, it's hard to move away from the language that our community uses. So when people are talking about your dark self, they're talking about the animalistic nature of yourself, your primal brain, the things that, you know, drive you internally to eat, sleep, and procreate. The parts of yourself that are more connected to nature and the natural rhythms, because again, you're connecting to the primordial mother. That's the best. See? That would be your dark side, is the side that has been directly touched by the primordial mother, and she says, this is the creature in which I created deep within your soul, that shall blossom forth to create all that is you. And that's a beautiful thing. This is this internal, like, drive, this, all of those things. And so that is the energy that we want to connect with when we're connecting with our darker self, our internal self, our, you know, the side we don't show other people. It is that what has been touched by that primordial goddess who is like, bam, I bring forth your energy to life. And that's the energy that you carry with you through each life. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or what color or what race or wherever you come from. That primordial energy is what comes with you through each life. That is what transcends through each rebirth. It comes with you through each year. It is that energy that is always with you, because it was there when the seed was bam. And so we reflect on that energy and we connect with that energy, and we know and we feel, and that makes past life regression work easier. It makes it easier to understand what lessons you're learning throughout life. There are just so many little things that kind of helps with. But really, it just helps you to know who you are. And so start by identifying your darkness and what you feel about the darkness and how you identify with the darkness, and begin shifting your ideology about the darkness from that which we've been taught in our monotheistic society into more of what it is, where seeds are born from and where new life comes from. You know, the womb is dark. There's no light in the womb. Actually, a funny trick that midwives use when they're trying to help babies who are breech is they'll use a flashlight and they'll shine the light to get the baby's attention, because the babies can see even though they're in full darkness. And they bring them around, and oh, my foot's asleep. I just had a random thought that's so weird, but maybe the light we see when we're dying is a remembrance of the light we saw the first moment of life. Just saying. Anyways, so the womb is dark, underground is dark, seeds don't grow in the light, like there's just those little things, and you have to shift your perception to better understand that energy, and then you can begin to interact with your own internal energy of that. And if you've already done that first step and you already are at a better place, then I really do encourage you to connect with that primordial energy that's always been with you, that continues to be with you, that is, just talking about it sparks my own internal energy. It makes me want to run around and like shake people and be like, wake up to your primordial mother. I'm going to make a bumper sticker. Anyways, all right, I'm going to say farewell with that. I hope all of you have a fantastic day and are enjoying your darkness. Many blessings and toast to you.